Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're delving deep into the compelling and often unsettling stories of individuals who have been forever altered by their traumatic experiences. These are tales of adversity, resilience, and the haunting impact of trauma. Brace yourselves for a gripping exploration of the lives of 5 individuals who defied the odds, traversed the darkest realms of human existence, and emerged transformed. Segment 1. Jaycee Dugard. Next, we plunge into the heart-wrenching story of Jaycee Dugard. Born on May 3, 1980, in Anaheim, California, Jaycee was living a relatively normal childhood until her life took a horrific turn on June 10, 1991. On that fateful day, as she walked to the school bus stop at the age of 11, Jaycee was abducted by Philip and Nancy Garrido. The Garridos took Jaycee to a makeshift compound behind their home in Antioch, California. In this hidden, walled-off enclosure, Jaycee's world transformed into one of confinement and control. She was isolated from the outside world, her family, and everything she once knew. Her captors subjected her to manipulation, emotional abuse, and horrifying acts of captivity that no child should ever endure. Jaycee's resilience allowed her to survive the ordeal, but her re-entry into society was a daunting journey. Her life bore the indelible scars of trauma, turning her into an advocate for victims of abduction and abuse. Jaycee's story serves as a stark reminder of the enduring strength of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. Segment 2. Nellie Bly. We commence with the remarkable journey of Nellie Bly, a fearless investigative journalist who, in 1889, embarked on a mission that would change her life forever. Nellie Bly was born Elizabeth Jane Cochran in Cochran's Mills, Pennsylvania, in 1864. She grew up in a world where journalism was mostly reserved for men, but Nellie was determined to break those barriers. Her early journalistic work was characterized by her commitment to social justice issues, and this commitment would lead her to her most famous endeavor. In 1887, Nellie took the pen name Nellie Bly and began working for the New York World, a prominent newspaper. Her career-defining assignment came in 1889, when she agreed to go undercover to expose the disturbing conditions inside the Blackwell's Island Women's Asylum in New York City. In a daring feat of investigative journalism, Nellie feigned madness to get herself committed to the asylum. Her mission was to experience firsthand the horrors faced by the patients and bring their plight to light. Nellie's experiences within the asylum walls were both eye-opening and harrowing. She witnessed patients enduring squalid conditions, neglect, and mistreatment. She saw firsthand the dehumanizing practices that were rampant in mental institutions of the time. Nellie's experience altered her fundamentally, turning her into a passionate advocate for the voiceless and a symbol of investigative journalism's power to expose societal injustices. Segment 3. Stephen Stayner. In 1972, a heart-wrenching tale unfolded as Stephen Stayner, a 7-year-old boy from Merced, California, was abducted by Edward Murphy. Stephen was an ordinary child, living a happy life with his family until he was taken on December 4, 1972. His abduction occurred as he was walking home from school, marking the beginning of a 7-year ordeal. During those 7 years, Stephen was held captive and subjected to a twisted form of psychological manipulation. His captor, Edward Murphy, convinced him that his family had given up on him and that they didn't want him anymore. Stephen was isolated from the outside world, living under a false identity with a man who had stolen him from his family. Stephen's return in 1980 was a profound and complex moment. He was no longer the innocent child who had been taken. He was a profoundly changed young man. His life had been marked by trauma, isolation, and manipulation. His experiences during captivity left him forever transformed by the trauma he endured. Segment 4. Elizabeth Smart. Now we turn to the chilling story of Elizabeth Smart, born on November 3, 1987, in Salt Lake City, Utah. Elizabeth's life was seemingly idyllic until the night of June 5, 2002. On that night, she was abducted from her own bedroom at knife point at the tender age of 14. Her kidnappers, Brian David Mitchell and Wanda Bazi, subjected her to unimaginable horrors. Elizabeth was forced to live in captivity, enduring physical and emotional abuse. She was made to adopt a new identity, wear disguises, and move through the shadows to evade capture. Her 9-month captivity was a nightmare, and her rescue marked the beginning of her long journey to recovery. Elizabeth's resilience allowed her to overcome her trauma, but her life was forever marked by the ordeal. Her return was not a miraculous transformation, but a stark reminder of the enduring effects of abduction and abuse. She became an advocate for child safety and recovery. Segment 5. Natasha Campusch. Lastly, we delve into the haunting story of Natasha Campusch, born on February 17, 1988 in Vienna, Austria. Natasha's life took a chilling turn on March 2, 1998. At the age of 10, she was abducted by Wolfgang Pricklopil while on her way to school. Wolfgang took her to a hidden basement beneath his house, where she would spend the next 8 years of her life. In that concealed prison, Natasha's world shrank to the dimensions of her captor's dark and oppressive lair. She was isolated from the outside world, cut off from her family and friends. Her captor imposed strict control over her, using psychological manipulation to maintain his dominance. Natasha's return in 2006 was met with astonishment and curiosity. She struggled to adapt to a world that had changed significantly since her abduction. Her experiences during captivity left her forever changed, serving as a chilling reminder of the indomitable strength of the human spirit to endure the unimaginable. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the lives of individuals who have faced unimaginable adversity. Stay tuned for more stories that explore the profound impact of trauma and the enduring strength of the human spirit. Until next time, remember the haunting echoes of these stories and the resilience that allows us to navigate the darkest paths of life.